So, this entire time, we've been talking about JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, and the Vancouver Canucks. Sprinkled in there, we've had some trade talk. We've gone over comments made by Rick Dhaliwal, Elliot Friedman, among others around the NHL insider community. And ultimately, what we're doing in this video is tying it all up with a bow before the Vancouver Canucks go out there and play their game against Travis Green and the Ottawa Senators, baby. Yep, that's right, the Red Hot Sens are in town, and Travis Green, he's the guy, isn't he? He's one of the main reasons this Ottawa Senators team has been able to get themselves back on track. They finally have goaltending, and it's outstanding goaltending at that. Linus Ullmark is a monster. That's neither here nor there, though, because heading into today's game, we are bringing up an article published by Patrick Johnson on The Province, and you're going to want to see this. It's a recent interview with Patrik Allvin. All the stars need to be better. It's one thing to be a star on a mediocre team. It's one thing to be a star on a good team, Allvin said. Now, this article, this interview, it's getting published at a very distinct time in the Vancouver Canucks history books. This JT Miller versus Elias Pettersson not liking each other thing has taken over the landscape in this city, and ultimately it bleeds into a bigger discussion about the top stars not being as good as they should be. We had been going over the numbers and videos yesterday. Rick Dhaliwal talked about this on the radio earlier yesterday morning too on Halford and Bruff, but in the last game against the Vegas Golden Knights, Boeser, Pettersson, and Miller each combined for one shot on goal. When you look at the amount of goals that the top guys have scored, Miller, Pettersson, Boeser, even Connor Garland, these guys aren't scoring goals anymore. And all the goal production you are getting is that a middle-to-bottom six guys. You've got Kiefer Sherwood and Dakota Joshua, Max Sasson, and Teddy Bluger and Danton Heinen. Good for those guys, but you need your stars to step up and get you going. Pettersson, Miller, Boeser, they haven't been doing that. And this article, this interview with Patrik Allvin, goes out there and gives the GM's perspective on everything that's going on. PJ goes out there and writes this: Pettersson is pointless in 5 games. Miller has 3 assists in the 5 games since he returned from personal leave, but he hasn't scored an even-strength goal since October. The struggles of the team's 2 star centers stand out, especially when Ilya Mikheyev, for example, whom the Canucks dumped on the Chicago Blackhawks over the summer, has scored as many 5-on-5 goals this season as Miller and Pettersson combined. By the way, yeah, Ilya Mikheyev has been amazing the past week and a bit, and I'm not gonna lie, it's as surprising to me as it is to most of you listening to this video. Ilya Mikheyev is a monster in Chicago. These two, however, Pettersson and Miller, stir the drink, but the weight should fall on all the team's top forwards, Patrik Allvin said Friday, shortly after the Canucks landed at Vancouver International Airport following their quick 2-game road trip to Salt Lake City and Vegas. I don't think it's necessarily those 2 particular guys mentioned that are struggling. Other guys that are supposed to be top guys that are struggling too, Allvin said. It's one thing to be a star on a mediocre team. It's one thing to be a star on a good team, Allvin said. That was the message from the coach too. Embrace the hardness. It's difficult to be consistently good. There's no country club in this. You keep working. You try to get better. You are relentless in this pursuit. You recognize that who you are today isn't as good as who you are tomorrow and the day after that, and so on. And I think that messaging was something that we had heard from Rick Tocchet in the media, like either a few months ago at the start of the season or sometime a year ago, partway throughout last season or whenever it was, but embrace the hardness, embrace how difficult this challenge is going to be. That word, embrace, that was a very specific word choice that Tocchet and, in turn, Patrik Allvin used in this type of commentary. It's finding that consistency every night when your expectations are higher. That's tough, Allvin said. That's how you prepare yourself. The preparation is not about being good in October, November. The preparation is about being good in February, March and April, May and June. I think that's something new for a lot of our players, Allvin said. In Vancouver, for years, they didn't get into the playoffs. It's my expectation that those guys, they're going to carry our team. If they don't, well, it's hard to win. he said of the likes of Miller and Pettersson and Hughes and Besser and Garland and DeBrusk and so on. Oh yeah, Jake DeBrusk is on this team too. I almost forgot. Kind of ridiculous since he doesn't score much anymore. Anyways, let's go out there and read a little bit more about this, because while Allvin does acknowledge that it's hard to win without some of your top guys being top guys, he's not outwardly concerned about whether his top players, especially Miller and Petey, will deliver. He's not especially concerned, at least not outwardly, about whatever it is that seems to have reignited a rift between the two star centers. So I guess there's that, his entire idea of the Miller-Pettersson stuff not really being all too drastic. But it's also clear that Allvin isn't going to force things if it's just working. If he has to take a new course, it seems like he will. If his phone rings and it's another team's GM on the phone making a trade, he's not hanging up immediately, he's listening to what they have to say. I mean, we're always looking to see what's out there and available, he said, as to whether he thinks he'll need to make a trade to change this top end of the group. I'm always interested in making this team better. At the end of the day, you are only going as far as your leadership group is leading, he said, and it's not about points, it's about mentality. Look at Jack Eichel. What are his point totals? He's a point per game, but his lead is playing the right way and leading them to championships, he said. The fun part in pro sports is winning. When you're playing the right way and preparing yourself and winning hockey games, everybody wants to do that. And so Patrik Allvin doesn't necessarily say verbatim that, hey, Pettersson and Miller, these guys suck, it's this, it's that, they're not good. He says that all of the top guys on this team need to be better. And it's not particularly just them, it's everybody else, which includes Garland, Besser, DeBrusk. Even if you wanted to throw Pius Suter out there. I mean, Suter was a goal-scoring machine at the beginning of the season, now he's kind of faded away a little bit. So for Patrik Allvin, there's a very obvious sort of signaling that he's presenting here in this interview that says that it's not just Miller, Petey, and them, it's everybody. Everybody's got to start lifting their weight on the top of this lineup, because you can't be going out there throughout the rest of the season expecting Kiefer Sherwood and Dakota Joshua to being your top goal scorers. You can't go out there and expect, okay, I'm going to bet the over on Teddy Bluger, I'm going to bet the over on Danton Heinen, and I'm going to hope that Max Sasson gets another 2 assists tonight. No, you got to be able to do this stuff with your top guys. Petey, Miller, Besser, Garland, DeBrusk, guys, start scoring. Miller hasn't had a 5v5 goal since October. Like, it's been over a calendar month, and sure, he left the team for a month too, but still, the point remains. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Patrik Allvin calling out the top players on this team for not being productive. What are your thoughts about this entire interview? It will be linked in the description if you want to go ahead and read it yourself. PJ always does a really good job with this stuff, and there's a lot more analyses in the article that we didn't get into in this video, so you could go ahead and check that out on your own time if you want. We will make another video commentary about the Vancouver Canucks playing off against the Ottawa Senators and Travis Green. Will Quinn Hughes get one over his buddy Brady Tkachuk? Who really knows? But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below for now. How do you feel about this Patrik Allvin interview? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.